Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Tyranny of Dragons. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have...
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
What an episode to leave off on. The Jhank Squad fought a dragon for the second and a half time, if we count Mondath's transformation creation she created. But not only just a normal dragon, but a full-blown adult dragon, one step removed from the most powerful dragons in all the land of Faerun. And I gotta tell you, they did an excellent job prepping, planning their rolls, and everything went off for the most part without a hitch, even with the ice trolls coming over and with the net dropping on top of Arauthator's frozen breath as it was blasting the battlefield. They almost defeated Arauthator until at the last minute Arauthator realized death was imminent, and so he snuck out through his lair, never to return again. And that is where we join our adventurers on this week's episode. So, Jhank Squad. This dragon was massive, and the battle was intense. And although you have ice trolls still in your vicinity, they look the direction that Arauthator flew. They heard him leave. And the ice trolls look at each other, and they look down at you.
I'm the only one next to the ice trolls. Fleeple and Lance are still running after the dragon.
And so they look at you, Mal, and as they look back at themselves, they sort of just give a shrug, and they start walking away from you. You obviously can still take opportunity attacks and destroy these trolls if you so desire, but without their master, Arauthator, being there, it doesn't seem like they are willing to take the initiative, so to speak, in their employment. And they have started retreating back to their previous locations.
Unsure of exactly what just happened with them, and since they're walking away, Mal will drop her rage with her bonus action and re-rage in the form of an eagle so that I can take dash as a bonus action, and will book it toward Lance and Fleeple because she's too far away through the pillars to really have understood that anything has happened. So she's going to continue booking it toward where her comrades are.
Absolutely. Fleeple, you're the first one, I believe, that will get to Arauthator's, the west side of the iceberg here, if that is the direction you're heading. Lance, you're going to be the fastest, aren't you? With your 90 feet of movement.
Yes. Our last time seeing the map, me and Fleeple are within range of each other, meaning we can see each other, correct?
Yes. Then you can only see up to 60 feet around you, and in fact, the fog makes it absolutely impossible to see past that, even with dark vision. So yes, you can see each other still.
I'm just going to turn to Fleeple, and I'm just going to go, this can't be over. And I will run, kind of beckoning him toward the pool in which Arauthator dove into.
Fleeple needs no extra convincing. He's still scrambling his way as quickly towards the edge of the water as he can, and kind of skids upon reaching it, and looks up towards Lance and is just like, "This area is bad for you. Going underwater is not good for a person like you, but don't worry, I've got this taken care of." And I'm going to pull out a little caterpillar cocoon and crush it in my hands and start rubbing them together all magic-like.
Okay, sounds good. Perhaps we do need to keep our initiative order here. Give me a second.
Yeah, Fleeple's been holding off on the shenanigans a lot ever since we got to this iceberg, and now's the time to try and pull out every shenanigan I can.
Time for a Fleeple.
So, with your movement, you are able to book it all the way to the pools of water which Arauthator slipped under. Lance, if you take an action, well, I was gonna say you could try to perceive which one of the pools they went under.
Yes, I want to do that.
The other three are undisturbed. There's no water to lap it, but there is one on the south side that it's moving quite a bit. Like there's a lot of disturbance going there.
Could I, for my action, just to help Fleeple get a good start, possibly in whatever he's planning to do, knowing Fleeple, that could be anything. Helping Fleeple get a start on this, could I look at that pool and try and give a perception check to see which possible way, based on the way the water's forming, which way Arauthator might have dove into the water? Meaning like, oh, he went north, or he curved to the west when he dove in, or whatever have you.
I see. So he dove like on the off chance that it's just a big expanse under there. You want to give Fleeple a further direction. Is kind of what I'm understanding.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, if you go ahead and roll a perception check then.
Okay. That is finally not a low roll. Perception. That's going to be 23.
23. Arauthator dove into this pool going east, if that makes sense. So dove in it from the west side. But as you run up to it and look down, with your dark vision and a 23, you see that this is actually more of like a tube going under the water. So even though he dove east, there really is only one direction for Arauthator to go.
Okay. I'm just going to let Fleeple know that so he can have a little bit more bearing on whatever he's going to do. It's a tunnel. He's in a tunnel.
And Mal, just for my benefit, how far was your running speed? You dropped a bonus action.
So the first round would have been just 40 feet because it would have just been my movement.
Yep.
But on a full round, I can go 80, 120. Yeah, I can go 120 in a round.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get to that in a sec. Okay, great. Fleeple, you used all of your movement to get over to this pool as well. So on the next round, you can start shenanigans with that in mind. Mal, so when we get back to your turn, you're going to move your whole full 120 to the group. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Full 120. You're catching up. Fleeple, it is your turn.
All right. I have one high-level spell slot left. I'm going to cast Polymorph on myself. I am a 9th level character, so I'm going to transform into a CR8 sperm whale, and I'm going to go nose first down to this tunnel.
Okay. With your action, I imagine like you're like, okay, to give you some, you fly up, and as you rub your hands together, muttering, you sort of spread this, because you have like a paste on you, right? Like in your hands, right? Is that what you were doing? Or?
So yeah, the material component for Polymorph is a caterpillar cocoon, so I crush that, and I like leap up into the air, toss the dust of the cocoon in front of me like glitter, and as I fall through, suddenly I turn into a big old sperm whale and just straight down into that tunnel.
And Lance drowns.
It's just a large creature, is that right?
This is a gargantuan beast.
Oh, okay.
The beast of the sperm whale.
So even bigger. Great.
Yes, this is not the first time that somebody has been a sperm whale on one of our podcasts.
Oh no. That's
Very true. Very true. Very true. So as you dive in, what's the swim speed for a sperm whale?
60 feet, and I'm going to be dashing. Well, actually, I can't dash because I already used my action, but in subsequent rounds, I'm going to be dashing.
This is going to be a little bit tight. This is not an open expanse. This is a corridor, and it's going to be a little bit tight. You can go in the opening for sure. I measured that out, so you can barely go through the opening, and you feel the expanse. So as you move around corners, we might have to do an athletics roll or a dexterity roll as that sperm whale if you can maintain that full 60 feet rushing to catch up. But yes, this is happening right now. So
Indeed it is.
All right, nothing with your bonus action, I assume, right?
Nope, that'll do it for me.
Okay, so you swim 60 feet down. Fun fact, white dragons only have a swim speed of 40 feet.
Ooh.
Oh!
The whale versus dragon.
Yeah.
And white dragons are only large creatures, apparently. So we will see what this... No, they're huge. They're huge. Sorry. They are huge creatures, but not gargantuan. So let's see. I'm just doing some math in my mind, trying to make my degree relevant to my life. And let's see. Okay. Fleeple, he dove in. You guys all ran over. And then he had his turn. And then Fleeple, you jumped in as a killer whale, sperm whale. Okay, cool. How much sight do you have as a sperm whale? And do they have dark vision? They have to have dark vision, right?
Sperma has blind sight to 120 feet.
Well, cool.
Holy crap.
Echolocation, baby.
So Fleeple, as you go,
We're all doing the sound effects. Mickey doesn't need sound effects for this. We got it.
I will not add sound effects at this moment.
Oh, boy.
you feel something swimming quite frantically ahead of you, but not out of the iceberg for sure. And so you still feel like down the corridor you might be able to catch up if you can get some really good rolls here. Okay. Lance, what are you doing? Are you like getting your swimsuit on to try and like jump in and
No, because I'm not. Because it's ice water, right? And that's a big no-no.
Oh
in
yes.
D&D.
Oh my goodness. This whole area is not, I mean, I mentioned when you first came down here, it's frigid cold. It is blisteringly cold. And in fact, in this area, you know that if you spend any extended period of time in here, there might be some consequences, long-lasting consequences in your body. You're fine. You've only spent maybe 10 minutes down here, but you're like, yeah, I could feel myself like slipping away heat-wise.
Yeah. Lance is just going to kind of like, it's one of those moments where you know something bad or, you know, like something needs to be done, but there's nothing you can do. It's one of those moments, you know, I think all of us have had maybe a moment or two like that in our lives. And it's just like where you feel paralyzed by your sheer lack of being able to do anything. In this moment of paralysis of like going through almost the index of his mind of all the things he can do, realizing there's nothing he can do, and just asking himself that question, just whispering like, what do I do? What do I do? And also reflecting on that he basically did nothing in this battle to help, and it's just kind of plaguing his mind right now.
As the cold continues to drop and the temperature, you feel an icy hand sort of like touch your right shoulder, and as you look back, you see this sort of like misty form of your sister as she looks upon you forlornly, like going, "There's not much to do now, love. You have to wait for them." And I believe that's your turn, Lance.
Yep.
Arauthator is going to take his turn, and I'm actually going to have him roll something, because this corridor is twisty, turny, and tight, not just for a sperm whale. Arauthator moves further down the icy corridor path. That's his turn. Mal, your go. That's another 120 feet, I believe, yes? At this point, Lance, Mal finally runs up, just breathless and just...
And Mal will look around and see that Fleeple isn't there, fearing the worst. That the dragon is gone and so is Fleeple.
Yeah.
She goes, "Where's Fleeple? Lance? Where is he? Where's Fleeple? Where is he?"
Lance just kind of looks down into the pool and just he went after him.
So Mal is yelling this at you as she's using her movement and running over to you, Lance. And as she comes up, you point to the pool at both of your feet. Fleeple,
Go get him.
turn. You go get him. Go get him.
Yeah, I'm going to swim 120 feet.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So Fleeple, I'm going to have you roll a dexterity check for this for going around these corridors. This first one won't be a high DC though. It is quite wide near the opening of this iceberg here. So just go and roll a general dexterity check.
When you said athletics or dexterity, I was really hoping it would be athletics because I have a +8 strength as a sperm whale.
Oh my gosh.
I have a -1 dexterity, so that's a 2.
Oh.
2. Okay. So not the full 120 feet, but you still go 100 feet.
Oh, that's not bad.
This person. It's not terrible. It wasn't as big of might get harder and it might get worse as we continue on through this corridor, but it's not terrible right at the beginning here.
Mm-hmm.
Your blind sense is like, Arauthator is like right there. You could like point him if you had fingers.
Ooh,
and
boy.
you yell this like bestial yell throughout the water as it shakes.
Which sounds like...
And you two at the bottom of like at the pool, you feel this like vibration and a bubble just kind of, and the bubble you hear.
It's the sound of a warrior.
That was so good. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Oh man. Okay. Lance and Mal, are you still are in initiative here? Would you like to do anything, or are you waiting, holding for the rest of the combat?
Lance is going to just, obviously, with the paralysis of powerlessness, try and think of anything, and he's just going to start looking around wildly for anything that stands out around here in the immediate area, like anything of note that is like, oh, that's interesting, that's new. Like, he's obviously looking for something to help, but he's also just looking for anything that might, just like, what can I do right now?
Mal will stand on the edge of that abyss and feeling that similar powerlessness. She looks back at Lance. What was his plan? What happened? He went after the dragon?
Yes, he flew and he created dust out of nothing, it seemed, and he became a monstrous sea creature. I've never seen anything like it, but in the most legendary storybooks, just this huge mammoth of a thing, just like a whale, but much like it was huge, and he just went in after him.
Mal kicks at the snow, which sends a burst of snow into the water. Watches it descend. She just says, "Dang it, Fleeple! What happens if he gets in trouble down there?"
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do anything. And Lance is like just kind of in that, kind of joining in the frustration of Malamara. First it was panic, now it's frustration. I don't know. There's nothing we can do.
Mal looks around, still a little breathless from her jolt, and since the whole round has gone by and she hasn't taken any damage, her rage leaves her, and she just is left feeling exhausted. Okay. So she reaches in her bag and takes out the sending stone, which she knows that Fleeple has the other one. Okay, I have this in case he gets into trouble. So what's the next thing that we can do? And Mal will start looking around and see Arauthator's horde. And Makatha described it in the ice and such. Why don't we try to start thawing out some of this horde and see what we can take back while we wait for Fleeple to get back to us?
Yeah, and with that in mind, Mal, it's exactly as described. A lot of this, well, for heaven's sakes, there's treasure on this side of the area. There's treasure on a few bits on top of the ice, but as you look at the wall, it glistens not only with, well, I should clarify, as you don't have a light source quite yet, but if you ignite a light source, it glistens across the landscape here, across the room, as you see gold, platinum, copper, gems, rubies, magic items, armor, all frozen into the wall. And it actually takes you aback because at some point you see frost giants frozen directly into the wall, some of them losing limbs, some of them with their helmets hanging off. Some of them only with partial faces, but all of them frozen into the wall of this lair. And it's a treasure trove. As this is wrapping up, we go back to the only two people still in initiative, Arauthator and Fleeple. I'm trying to think of a clever name for a sperm whale Fleeple, and I just can't come up with one.
Speeple.
A Speeple.
Moby Deeple.
Moby Deeple.
Moby Deeple. Net inspiration for that.
Oh, thank you.
Come on! Wow.
There's a good chance I'll need it.
I deliver so many puns, and Ned just gets the ones. Oh my gosh!
Hey, I have to. All things in balance, right?
No, I don't think I've ever got. I've gotten eye rolls on any pun I've used. I have never gotten inspiration for a pun.
Listeners, if that's true, we'd love to hear about it on our Discord.
As the editor, I can confirm that that's true.
Thank you.
Well,
I
in
asked for our
any case,
listeners. Yes, in any case, Fleeple, Arauthator, you feel swimming away from you quite frantically now. It's your go. You keep moving forward. I'm going to give you an opportunity now. This is a particularly tight corner that you're coming up against. You may use a dexterity check or a strength check. Dexterity, if you're able to, the DC will be much lower because you'll be able to slip by it, or you could just swim and try to use brute force to maybe crack away some ice and push it forward through this next section here to see if you can get your full 120 movement there.
okay, before I go too far, do I have maybe a sense of how close this dragon is to me?
Yeah, you blind sense 120 feet, right?
Yep.
They are out of your blind sense. They were, but then they swam away. So they're out of your blind sense currently.
Yeah, we're going to try and ram our way through with some strength.
Great. Go ahead and roll me an athletics or strength check here. Yeah.
That's a 23.
Yeah.
23. 22 is the DC here. So
You show that
this is a
tunnel who's
particularly
boss.
small. You see the hole just get significantly smaller, and you pick up energy and you pick up speed, and just boom, you just smash right into the ice, and you get your full 120 feet there. And it's starting to open up a little bit more in this corridor, to the point where you're afraid that you might actually go to open waters here for the dragon. Not like immediately, but you're like, a couple more rounds of this and he might be able to swim out, or we might lose him to in some capacity. But 120, he's only 40 feet away from you. He's directly in front of you. You see him, and Arauthator, he kind of like looks back, and he just swims away. That's going to be another, and he just to the edge of your blind sense now. This next section, I didn't have any obstructions, so as he's to the edge of your blind sense, 120, you swim your full 120 feet, and you are right up next to him. So you and Arauthator, you like have the big eye. You can't swing your head around, but you swim right next to him as your large whale eye is staring right at him, and he's like looking at you. And if dragons had were able to have very distinct facial expressions, you just see shock and confusion on his face. Yeah, you are side by side with Arauthator right now.
Ooh, yeah.
He is going to attack you.
All right.
He's going to stop his movement. He's magic. He knows magic. So he's going to just turn and just try to wail into you. This is 3 attacks against you. So first attack. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits.
Natural 20 for the second.
Of course.
And a 22 to hit on that. So I imagine all 3 hit.
Indeed.
Okay, so that's going to be...
Actually, I'm going to use a luck point on that nat 20.
Yeah.
Very good. All
I'm going
right.
to make a roll. That's a 14.
14. Okay, well, it's 25 total still, so it still hits, but not at double damage there. So go ahead and mark
Very
off
good.
that luck point. So that's going to be 66 dice.
Do we want to get those separately for the purposes of concentration?
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so I'll do the first one. First one is only 10 points of damage.
Okay, con save. That is an 8.
Oh. So you could lose polymorph right now with your
I could.
concentration
I'm
check.
going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
That's what you get
Yeah,
for pun
type.
inspiration.
That's a 6.
Dang it.
Yeah, your polymorph is gone. As he takes damage to you with this first bite, and this massive giant sperm whale disappears into this creature, much
So
smaller.
his first attack caused the drop.
Gone. Polymorph gone.
So 2 more attacks on just Fleeple himself.
That's correct.
Oh, shh.
As Arauthator glowers down at you, he's going to claw at you. Wait a minute. Melee. Oh, underwater combat rules. Hold on.
That's right.
Underwater combat rules. I totally forgot about
He
this.
would have disadvantage on the attacks because he's not aquatic, I think.
Let's take a hold on. Mini crunch squad, everybody.
Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
Underwater combat. Okay. Making melee weapon attacks. A creature that doesn't have a swimming speed has disadvantage. He does have a swimming speed, and then I would just and then the damage is all good to go still, I believe. Okay. All right.
How many hit points does a whale have?
189.
Yeah, the sperm whale had 189 hit points. Okay, so Fleeple, for the second one, that's 20 points of damage to you.
All right.
And then finally, the last one is 11 points of damage to you.
Okay.
And Arauthator is going to stand there. He's going to stay his presence as he sees one creature, tiny, puny, winged-like creature. To him, a mocking image of what a dragon ought to be. And he glowers. And it is your turn, Fleeple.
All right. I'm going to turn into a giant octopus.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. So you spend your action, turn into a giant octopus. Well, and is this with polymorph or with your...
This is with my wild shape.
wild shape? So no somatic or verbal components needed. You just... and you turn into a giant octopus in front of him. And Arauthator sort of swims back a little bit, like, what is going on here? Like, who is this person? Like, this is stupid.
This is stupid.
Giant whale? This is stupid, guys.
Come on.
So that's your action to transform, is that right?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, because you didn't take a Circle of the Moon, and Circle of the Moon lets you do it as a bonus action, I believe.
Correct. In that case, then, actually, before I transform, I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Heroism on myself.
Okay. You cast Heroism. I'm just gonna... I know we don't get into underwater very much. I'm just looking at the components of Heroism. I apologize.
That's a good point.
Verbal. It does have some verbal...
All right, we'll forget about that then, and be done.
Okay, sounds good. Giant octopus. Wait, hold on. How long can they hold their breath? Players can cast spells underwater in D&D. Players can cast standard spells, cantrips, fire, and spells that require verbal, somatic, and certain material components
So we can
underwater.
cast it.
How long
Really?
they can hold their breath and exhaustion from swimming can impact a player's ability to cast spells.
So we're saying that being underwater isn't preventing me from speaking?
Correct. Like you have
Just let out a little bit of air?
Yeah, so you have. I like the idea of like you have a limited air in your lungs, and if you choose to expend that to cast a spell, your air supply diminishes. So yeah, you are able to use the verbal components of the spell to cast Heroism on yourself, Fleeple. So go ahead and give yourself the benefits of Heroism.
All right, that sounds good to me. Well, shoot, knowing that I can do vocal underwater, let me just check something real quick.
Give me a second.
I instead am going to cast Sanctuary on myself with my bonus action. And then use my action to polymorph into a giant octopus.
Sounds good. Sanctuary, meaning they have to make an attack roll against, or they have to make a save against you if they're going to do damage.
Any creature who would target me with an attack or harmful spell makes a wisdom save. On a fail, they must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell.
Okay, well, they are going to use their legendary action to attack you as a giant octopus, but that's a wisdom save against your spell save DC, correct?
Correct.
Good call, Net.
That is a 2 on the dice for a total of 8.
That does not succeed.
So, yeah, their initial tail attack, they whip out. They try to whip it towards you, but being a giant octopus, they're just confused, and so it just kind of goes wide. But it is now their turn, so they are going to take the 3 actions against you. That means every single attack, they have to roll a wisdom save against you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, stop it. Okay, well, let me do wisdom saves here first.
This is what happens when you fight against DM.
DM versus DM.
It's a 22 for the first one, so that attack goes through, I believe. And then the second one here, that's an 8 again, so that fails.
All right.
And then it was 16 for the last one.
My DC is 17.
Oh, so they only get 1 attack! Okay, well, here's the bite coming at you. And that is going to be a 27 to hit. So
that does hit.
That hits. Yes, okay. And they're going to do only 2d10 damage. That's going to be 24 points of piercing damage plus 4 points of cold damage. So a total of 28, but this is not concentration because it's wild shape. So
correct.
You don't have to roll any, but just 28 to your giant octopus form. All right. Well, yeah, with that, I'm going to just send it right back to you. Arauthator is still feeling pretty confident. He popped you out of the sperm whale, giant octopus. He couldn't attack you for some of it, but he got it against you. He's going to stand his ground, and he's going to just breathe out his nostrils as bubbles burst, start to blow and gently obscure your vision there. Fleeple.
All right. This will make me lose my Sanctuary, but I will make a tentacle attack against the dragon.
Great. Sanctuary lost, but go ahead and roll.
It's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Yeah. Ooh, thank goodness.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that hits.
He's super
It's going to
hurt.
be 13 bludgeoning damage.
He is hurt. 14 bludgeoning damage. Yep,
13.
Yep. 13. Okay.
But
Yep. Tight.
even better than that, he's now grappled, escape DC 16, and until the grapple ends, he is restrained. Booyah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, he has taken some damage there, and you restrain him with your octopus suckers. And you just are gripping onto him as he lashes against your bonds here. At the end of your turn, he's going to try an attack. Oh my gosh, restrained.
So, yeah, while restrained, all of his attack rolls have disadvantage. Attack rolls against him have advantage. Speed becomes 0, can't benefit from any bonus to speed, has disadvantage on dex saves.
Okay, so disadvantage. He's going to try and attack you with his tail with disadvantage here.
All right.
The first one was a natural 20.
With disadvantage?
No, that was the first roll. So that's going to be a 16 to attack with his tail still.
That
with
does hit.
disadvantage. Okay, so here comes the damage to you.
He can try and break out too, right?
Yes, he can. This is just his legendary action right now, so that's 12 points of bludgeoning damage to you.
All right.
Okay, still a giant octopus?
Still a giant octopus.
Okay, sounds good. Now he is going to spend his turn to try and break out of this. And that is a, what type of athletics? Or?
Athletics or acrobatics, his choice, DC 16.
Yeah, that's going to be athletics. So yeah, as long as he doesn't get like a natural 1, he should be able to get out of this. Yeah, that's an 11.
Oh boy. And trying to escape a grapple costs a full action, I believe.
That's his action, so he can't attack anymore this turn. He is going to try and swim further to the...
You can't.
A restrained creature's speed is 0.
Yeah.
We found this out when Mal was restraining Resmir in the air. So, yeah, absolutely. So he just thrashing against you as he tries to move, you just pull him back, and one of your tentacles actually like suctions to the wall, like holding both of you there. Yeah, thrashing violently. It goes back to you, Fleeple.
Okay, and as long as he's restrained, my attacks have advantage.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't want that to happen. So go for it.
Only a 15, even with advantage.
Okay, that's a miss for the first one.
That's the only one.
That's the only one.
I've used every single luck, every single inspiration.
Okay, sounds good. So no inspiration.
Get a pun,
Okay.
quick, Ned. Pun it now.
Pun.
Oh man, yeah, the punnet square for this here dragon, I bet it's bad stuff on one side and bad stuff on the other side, am I right?
What a story, Mark.
What is
All right, well, he's going to try and do a tail attack against you with his legendary action with disadvantage again. Oh my gosh. That's a 15 to hit?
That does hit.
Okay, because okay. Here we go. Okay, 5 and 13, 19 bludgeoning damage to you.
Okay, I'm Fleeple again.
Broken out, no longer restrained. Really frustrated. He's just going to try and wail on you, Fleeple, with 3 attacks. So here we go. First one. Natural 20.
Okay.
Second one.
No.
19.
All right.
24 for the third one.
Those all hit.
Okay, let's roll the natural 20 here. 46 points of piercing and cold damage.
All right, I'm still up.
Okay, here's the claw.
Wait, that was just the first attack? Okay,
That was just the first attack.
cool.
24 slashing for the claw, 2 claw attacks coming afterwards.
All right, and I'm down.
Okay, Fleeple, as you go down and as you're underwater, Arauthator slashing at you, bite, claw. You feel yourself slip away from consciousness from this battle, and as you go to blackness, you are unaware of what happens next, what happens around you.
This is bad. This is really bad.
I don't believe we accounted for legendary actions when we were doing our plots against the DM. I mean, this totally random, absolutely improv on the spot plan we have here.
Yes,
Oh.
and
You guys act like you're upset about this.
we don't want you to die.
Ned's like, bird!
You're literally in water.
So, we're going to still be in initiative order here. Fleeple, I'm going to have you roll, first time, a death saving throw.
Wait, we can't go?
This
been
happened
just-
at the end of initiative.
We've been just sitting here for a while.
Mal and Lance, as you're at the top, kind of going through it, technically Mal would have an opportunity, but what would influence? I mean, like,
But there's been a couple turns. I feel like we could possibly do some
this
things.
has been a significant amount of time. But Mal, it's your go before Fleeple makes his death saving throw. Up to you. But when we get to Fleeple, I will have you make your first death saving throw.
15.
1 success.
But you're in water.
So, Jake, should we do a dice roll? And if it's an even number, we say we give Fleeple more time. And if it's an odd number, we say Fleeple's out of time and try to do something.
I like that idea, but to be fair, I did have one idea before. It was kind of like, okay, you guys are RPing. We're just going to go to Fleeple and the battle. So I did have one idea I was going to act on, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow of everything.
Okay.
So I generally had an idea that I could have been doing this whole time. And that would be like, as Malamara was saying, like, we just gotta look around. We just gotta, trust what Fleeple's doing. And Lance thinking of like his sister saying like, I forgot exactly what Thomas's words were, but just saying like there's nothing you can do. Lance can't accept that. He, as I think we've established, hates the idea of being helpless for those he loves. And he is just frantic in his mind of what to do. And all of a sudden he just thinks, okay, Mal's magical, but she can't do anything. I'm very limited in magical. The only way we can get magic. Makoff! And he'll just start shouting for the wizard. the one we've been here to save, and just hoping that, like, as loud as he can shout, and also, actually, the one bit of magic Lance can do is message, and he'll just start pointing everywhere, just saying, "Makoth, we need you down here now! The dragon's not here anymore! We need you now!" Just shouting and also messaging, shouting.
Yeah, how far does message go?
Message goes 120 feet, I believe. It stops through, like, thick things, but there's also a lot of openings, and especially we have Makoth's little hideaway right near us, too.
Yeah, the scriptorium entrance isn't too far.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to run over to the scriptorium entrance and just yelling.
Yes, but I also know he was taking a sloth back to, or whatever we transformed that guy into. Yeah. And so, yeah, kind of going that direction, but also, like, pointing in any direction just in case he's not there. And just shouting and messaging.
Yes. Okay, we will come back to that then.
And when Lance runs off, shouting Makoth's name, Mal will remember that encounter she had just before we came down into this area, and that magic she felt casting the Eldritch Blast, and picturing that man with the canaries that she didn't totally understand. And she kind of debates within herself, scrunches her face up and goes, what the heck? So she'll drop to her knees, and while looking up at the ceiling, awkwardly, she will start praying to Bahamut. She doesn't know how to pray. She's never been religious, and up until recently, she's been hooked up with a demon. So, feeling that influence on her, she goes, "I'm sorry, I don't know if this is right, but Bahamut, your platinumness, please watch over Fleeple. Help him. Give him strength. And I know I don't have any right to ask this, but please let us know if there's something else that we should be doing. If he needs our help, send us a sign. Please watch over him."
I want you to roll a religion check.
Yep, super good at those.
And Lance, I want you to roll a yelling check, intimidation check.
A vocal check.
A yelling check.
Performance.
Vocal check.
Yes, performance. That's probably the best thing that we've got there to yelling how loud it can go. While this is happening, Fleeple, roll me another death saving throw.
15.
2 successes.
Okay.
But he's in the water. He's going to drown. I rolled a 10.
Okay. And Mal, religion.
I only rolled a 9 because I have a -1 to my intelligence.
Great. A round goes, or we have about round or two goes, and no response yet. If you wish to keep imploring, keep pleading, you can roll another performance.
Yeah, Lance is going to run up into the scriptorium, still shouting and messaging, but just seeing if that wizard is sitting there or in there.
So you're unable to run into the scriptorium because you have to have some sort of levitation to go to
climb
the top. This one has a slide chute that falls down that Makoth described and talked about previously, how she was only able to escape the last time she came down here through a levitation spell. But being at the bottom, you still can yell and you still can scream.
This is full desperation mode for Lance.
Yeah. So as you're climbing the pillar, you can climb the pillar to get close.
Yeah.
You can't actually leave without a rope or things like that. And so you scream again. Go ahead and roll a performance. And Mal, you can roll religion if you'd like. While this is happening, Fleeple, roll me a death saving throw, please.
It's 11.
14.
11.
14. That's a success for the death saving throw. That's 3 successes. However, Fleeple is not stabilized because he is unconscious underwater. He can't subconsciously breathe air in. He is still in danger of death and will be continued to making death saving throws as a result. What was your religion check there, Mel? 14?
14.
With your 14, you feel unsettled. You feel something isn't right. Something is not sitting well with you. But is that you being worried about Fleeple, or does that mean something is wrong with Fleeple? I'll let Malamara interpret that how you will, but that is the impression that comes to you as almost like it's am I making this up, or is this something that's coming to me? Am I being given something, or is this something coming to me, right? Lance and Mal, you can still take an action here. What would you like to do?
Lance is going to keep shouting and just the same things of like, McCoth, we need you. Get down here, you bloody coward. He's so angry at McCoth because McCoth could have helped the whole freaking time and did not. And he's just going to be like, we risked everything for you. Show up once.
With this, I will allow you to roll a persuasion with advantage at this point.
Thank you.
Mal, while this is happening, what would you like to do?
Mal's going to roll. I'm going to roll a dice. As a player,
Mal
the
takes
human
out her
that is
dice.
portraying
Yes.
this character. Mal takes out her dice and starts rolling bones. And I'm going to roll. If I get an even, Mal is going to take it as a sign from Bahamut that something is wrong and she needs to act. And if it is odd, she will do a different action.
Leaving it to chance. Pulling a Fleeple here. Or a net, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving it to fate. All right, Mal.
Mal, sitting on her knees, thinks about taking out the sending stone, and she is just completely filled with dread in a way that is different from the anxiety of Fleeple being gone. And she just closes her eyes and clasps her hands and just goes, Bahamut, I hope this is from you. I'm trusting you. And so she'll stand up, and Lance is at the scriptorium entrance, right?
Yeah, so he's away from you. You just hear him screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs a distance away.
She'll look at him frantically, looking up the chute and shouting at McCoth. And she shouts over to him, Lance, something's wrong. I have to go in after him. I need to go. And she'll wait just a half a second for a response before she'll take her action.
While this is happening, Fleeple, roll me a death saving throw, please.
Nat 20.
What? Nat 20?
I have 1 hit point. I turn into a giant octopus.
Wait, does a nat 20 get you back?
What, Nat 20 gives you 1 hit
With
point?
1 hit
So
point.
1 hit
Fleeple,
point.
you like are floating around and like you kind of like you don't see what is happening in front of you directly. You are in this weird amorphous area of you are underwater, but you're floating, but are you you're not floating underwater. You're floating in a void. You're floating in a space, and you think you see a light. You think you hear voices. You hear words being yelled. You feel like you hear like McCoth yelling or screaming, but it's when you realize you're floating almost in the fog of the lair. You try to focus in, and it's at that moment that Mal stands up and yells to Lance that something is wrong. And as she says something is wrong, you go, "Wait, Mal, what's wrong? Nothing is." And you realize something is terribly wrong, and you're brought to, and you go to inhale. You actually do inhale, and the water immediately fills your lungs. You cough, and without even thinking, you just in your giant octopus form. Is that what you said? You are just. You take a moment. You don't see Arauthator anywhere. You don't see him here. You don't see him around the corner. You're not quite aware which direction to go, but you're breathing. You're alive. And it's at this point, I believe, Mal, you decide to dive in.
Well, I was waiting for half a second to see if Lance has a quick response.
With that persuasion roll that you had me roll with advantage, I rolled an 18.
You hear in message and in your ear and go, okay, Dang it! I'll be right there.
And I'll just scream at Mal, "Macaws coming! They might have something!"
With that response, Mal, just quietly to herself, whispers, "I'm sorry." And she will use her 4th rage to rage as a bear. And will dive in headfirst into the water.
With Lance yelling that Makath has something, with Fleeple just coming to, and Mal feeling the dread of the moment, we, as a picture and as an audience, we see Mal take a breath and just dive into the water. And that is where we're going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
Heavy.
You guys seem very distraught.
Yes, we are, Ned.
That's like, I could survive or I could play a bard. It's either way good for me.
Well,
You know how
guys are
many?
saying that
Do you know how many 5 stars would go to 1 immediately?
the dice tell the story they want to tell.
I had completely forgotten that rolling a natural 20 means you get 1 hit point. That is...
Hey, so
That's
did
a
I.
lifesaver.
They were like, oh, wait. Oh, dang. Oh, shoot.
Wait a minute.
And the dice did tell a story. Oh, we got a beautiful moment of this tension and this dread. And Fleeple, I mean, pulling some awesome shenanigans is what I'll say. As Fleeple pop, pop, pop. Oh, what an exciting episode for me. Ned, Jacob, Mickey, thank you as always for joining as wonderful, magnificent, and creative players. But listeners, thank you for joining us on this intense episode. We love that you're here. We love telling this story and love what we're able to explore. And we just are grateful that you're exploring it with us. If you like what we're doing, if you like listening to this type of content, please leave us a 5-star review on the podcatcher of your choice, or leave a comment, however you want. I know Spotify lets you leave comments on the episodes as well. We've gotten some wonderful comments from fans who've talked about nail-biting moments, things that they've liked on some of our Crunch Squad episodes as well, with some further suggestions. So please don't forget to leave us a review and interact with us there. But if you want to interact with us a little bit further or a little bit more, not as restrictive to a 5-star review format, you can shoot us email at icastfireball2020@gmail.com, where we have some wonderful, fantastic people reaching out to us about things that they love and things that they're concerned about. The first one that I'm going to be shouting out today is from Anna. Anna shot us a message not too long ago saying she loves the podcast. She's a big fan, and the things she really likes focusing is the character development is phenomenal, that we strive to use clean language. And she has a really sweet, heartfelt story that she told with us. We're going to leave it private because we didn't ask for permission beforehand on that story, but it's brought people together in her life, and we're very happy for that. And Anna, thank you for joining us. And yeah, we are just very grateful that you're along for the ride. Next person we're going to be shouting out is Nick. Nick reached out saying they're a short-time listener, first-time contactor, and that they haven't been playing D&D, but only for a year and a half, and that they are actually brought to our podcast due to Tyranny of Dragons. They had a group of players that after getting through the intro module, Minds of Phandelver, they voted for Tyranny of Dragons, and that there was a lot of hate online for this adventure because it was the first one for 5th edition. The list goes on. And that listening to us for the actual plays led him to this podcast. Thank you for the hard work, as they say, and listening and reading through the book. It's got them excited to figure out how to do some things differently. Maybe some incorporate that homebrew. Nick, you incorporate that homebrew. There's so many opportunities in this campaign to really inject yourself and make things thematic for you and your adventures. And if you and other listeners want help with your own homebrew material, reach out to us in our email. Jump in our Patreon exclusive Discord where we talk about things like this, and we would love to be able to interact with you as cast and fans and just get to know you a little bit more there. Don't forget to reach out to us on our social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, where we have our audio-only podcast at iCastFireball20, and our Patreon, patreon.com/iCastFireball20, where you can jump into our Discord, where we have some amazing conversations going on there. Lastly, and quickly want to shout out our sister podcast, Improv Tabletop. They have amazing campaigns going on. Don't forget to check them out and leave them a 5-star review on the way out. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. Sorry for this long outro, everybody. I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
Let's keep that fire going, and we'll see you all next time.